Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 11th. This week started with a huge storm called a Derecho that pushed through 9 states, bringing a sweeping destruction path all across these 9 states. We are in Chicago. I'm Dave Malkoff, and I am standing on top of a debris pile. Where did this come from that hit this restaurant that was actually closed yesterday? Well, look at this 20-story building right here. This is an apartment complex here in Wheaton, Illinois, and we're told that the elevator shaft actually ripped off of the top of this roof, and it came down here, and that sent water pouring into that elevator shaft. And now 2 of the 3 elevators that serve that giant building that has a lot of people in it are now shut down. Steve O'Connick is over in Iowa, in Lynn County. He is with the emergency management, and he is looking at some of the most widespread destruction in this entire storm. How is everything going in Iowa right now, Steve?
Good morning. Thanks for having us on. Last night, yesterday afternoon, we took a pretty severe whack. Winds in excess of 112 miles an hour recorded with a meter from one of our fire departments. Straight line winds, most of the damages across the county. Cedar Rapids, Marion, Springville took the largest hit. Widespread power outages, over a couple 100,000 people without power. We anticipate that'll take a couple of days, if at best, to get back in operation. Fortunately, we don't have any reports of any serious injuries, and I'm not aware of any fatalities at this point. So we're just still trying to when the lights came on this morning, thanks to Mother Nature, we're trying to get a better look at what's going on.
As we can see, there is widespread damage in that area, including to the agricultural areas where we have seen in Iowa, there are giant grain silos that looks like someone took a hand and squished a Pepsi can, and those giant grain silos are part of this agricultural destruction that is going on. You've also got cornfields that were flattened right before harvest time, at the time that farmers are already hurting in that part of the country.
Yeah, for sure. We're still trying to assess that. Some areas of the county were managed to get lucky, but you're right. The grain silos, some farm buildings, some outbuildings, some storage buildings were damaged, if not destroyed. So there's an apartment complex that took a severe damage, and some buildings and businesses also took some hits. So it's going to be a few days before we're back on our feet.
Steve, tell me about the apartment complex you were talking about there. What kind of severe damage are we looking at there?
Yeah, in Marion, it's a 3-story structure. Part of the top half of the 3rd story is gone. Most of it, the rest of it is still standing, but the top half just looks like somebody grabbed a handle and ripped off the top and threw it away. It's pretty amazing. We had some folks that needed some shelter. We worked on most of the night to try and get them into the fire station for some shelter, and we'll continue to do that throughout the day. We're still working on our medically fragile population and making sure that they have oxygen and they have the needs that the equipment that they need to be able to survive.
Thank you, Steve. I know you're busy. I know you got to get back to work, but thanks for joining us this morning. He was talking about bringing people into shelters. That's tough to do because you've got to wear your mask in there and you've got to keep people apart from each other. It's not like you've been able to do in the past, Stephanie, where you've been able to just bring people into an open gym and just set up cots in there. It's very, very difficult. And now, throughout the region, we've got just shy of 1 million customers who are without power. So this is another one of those natural disasters in the age of COVID that we're dealing with, something very, very devastating, but also it's really hard to recover.